Ouijawii here with the Super Macho Man part of the tutorial. And when you're learning Super Macho Man, I would suggest doing a little bit of practice first. So I'm going to show exactly what you need to do before we start learning the speedrun strats for this fight. All you're going to want to do is learn how to dodge his punches consistently. He delays has very short delays in between each punch. So once you've dodged those, you're going to punch him in the face. And then after you punch him in the face, you're going to do a quick right dodge and then either hit him in the face or the gut. Now, if he throws an uppercut, you're going to hit him in the face after the quick right dodge. But if he throws a hook like he does here, you're going to do quick right dodge and hit him in the gut. So uppercut, quick right dodge face, hook, quick right dodge, gut. You're just going to keep dodging them and doing this pattern over and over until you can do it somewhat consistently. I messed up and did I dodged a little slow there and got blocked. But this is the best way to get Macho down consistently in round one. Each punch that you do will do 5 damage to him. And if you punch him while he's stunned, your punches will only do 1 damage instead. So after you've knocked him down and he gets up, this is the start of phase 2. You are going to actually use one of the stars that you picked up by holding start. And at the bottom left-hand part of the screen, you can see that I'm holding the start button to start the phase. And that punch will go off as soon as possible. After you hit him, Macho is going to back up and you're going to do slow left dodges to dodge all of his punches. And you're going to keep dodging until he stops, which means you're going to do 1 extra dodge after he's done. And then you're going to punch him in the face 11 times. You're going to get rapid punches, and you can see they're doing 1 damage each. And then after that, you're going to go back to what you've been doing from the beginning, just dodging his punches and then doing the appropriate counter. Now you'll notice after you've done the quick 11 punches to the face, he'll have a little bit of a delay there, and I'll show it a little bit more here. So phase 3 is exactly like phase 2. You're going to hold start and throw a star punch to start, wait for him to back up, slow dodge all of his punches, and then 11 here. And after his head snaps back and he comes back, his feet are going to go out in and out and in really quick. And once they've come in for that second time, that's your cue to dodge. Out in, dodge. And then you just keep going with this pattern until you beat him. And that's it. So that's the practice. That's what you need to practice. Do this until you can beat him in round 1 consistently without taking any damage. And then you'll be ready for the speedrun strats. Okay. So once you're ready, the speedrun strats are going to open the fight a little bit differently. Instead of doing 2 slow left dodges, we're actually going to punch him by using what's called a Dizzy Destroyer. And if you've learned Piston Honda 2, then you'll know already what a Dizzy Destroyer is. But just know for Super Macho Man, his guard is actually faster. So you need to input these a little bit quicker in order to pull them off. To start the fight, a Dizzy Destroyer is where you punch him in the gut and then in the face again. And you do that by manipulating his guard. And as you see here, I'm holding up already. And what that's going to do is it's going to push his guard up. So he's going to start with his guard up and drop it as the fight starts. But then if you're holding up, he'll raise it again. So his guard's up and then he drops it, but you're holding up, so he's going to bring it back up. And notice that I let go of up as his guard went up, and then I pressed the B button. And what that's going to do is it's going to throw a punch at his gut while his guard is up, and he's not going to be able to block it because he thinks you're about to do a face punch. And there it is. You'll hit him in the gut. Now, as this punch is hitting him, you're going to want to hold up and B on the controller, which I do right here. And as that punch starts going off, you are going to let go before it hits him in the face. So he thinks you're going to punch him in the face, but as soon as you let go, as this punch is going off, he'll drop his guard before the punch hits him. And I missed the frame there. Let's see. Yeah, it's really quick. He does drop his guard for... There it is, right there. So he drops his guard right before the punch lands, and you'll be able to sneak attack into his face. So that's how you open the fight. Now we're going to do what we've just practiced, dodge his punches, and then use the appropriate counter. Quick right dodge gut for the hook, quick right dodge face. Okay, so now we have 2 stars. Now we're going to dodge punch him in the face and use both stars, but I want you to pay attention to his 4th punch. So far he's done 2 punches, and you've gotten 2 stars off him. His third punch is here. Use the star. Fourth punch is here, and it's a hook. Now, if his fourth punch of the fight is a hook, you know you're getting the bad pattern, which means you're going to have a slower phase 1 than if you would get the good pattern. And I'll show the good pattern after this. But the fourth punch here is a hook, so you know you got the bad pattern, which means after you dodge this, punch him in the face, and use your second star, like that, we're just going to keep doing this pattern where we punch him and do the quick dodge buffer and until we knock him down. And you'll get about a 43 on the clock, somewhere in between 42 and 45, if you do that correctly. Now, in phase 2, we'll cover that later, actually. Let me show the good pattern for phase 1. So, again, we're going to start the fight off with a Dizzy Destroyer by manipulating his guard, punching him in the gut, then punching him in the face. And then we're going to pay special attention to the fourth punch, as always we do against Macho Man. So first punch is a hook, so we do this. Second punch is a hook, so we do that again. Now we're going to use the stars. Throws a hook, okay? Now his fourth punch is an uppercut, which means we might get the good pattern. If the fourth punch is a hook, you know you got the bad pattern. If the fourth punch is an uppercut, you might get the good pattern. The good pattern is if this punch is an uppercut, a right-handed uppercut, which it is, and then the fifth punch is a left-handed uppercut. That's what we're looking for next. So throw the star. So you get 2 stars, use 2 stars, and then his fifth punch is a left-handed uppercut. So we know we got the good pattern now. So we're just going to dodge, punch him in the face, and then do the buffer and punch him in the face. Now, if you get the good pattern, which we did here, he's going to go into his quick spin punch. So he's going to delay for a bit before he throws it. And during his delay is your opportunity to do some damage. So just like the start of the fight, when we opened with a Dizzy Destroyer, we know we got the good pattern now, so we know he's going to delay. So we're going to go ahead and do another Dizzy Destroyer. We're holding up. He comes back to the fight, still holding up. Raises his guard. We let go of up. Throw a gut punch. That lands. Now we're going to buffer up and B. And then as that's going off, down in the bottom left, you can see the inputs there. As it's going off, we're going to let go. And that'll trick him into dropping his guard as the punch is going off, and we hit him in the face. Now we have one more punch to do to knock him down, and it's going to be a star punch. Unfortunately, against Super Macho Man, you can only hit him with 2 star punches before he starts dodging them all. So in order to hit him with a third star punch, we need to do some more guard manipulation. And the way you do that is you hold up and start, like I am doing right here. And then as that punch is going off, once it starts winding up, we're going to let go of both up and start. And there, I'm not holding anything anymore. And that'll trick him into dropping his guard as the punch goes off. And Macho Man's priorities are actually to block before it is to dodge. So instead of dodging the star punch, he's going to try and block it, but it's not going to work. It's going to hit him in the face and knock him down. So that's the good pattern, phase 1 strats. And there is a slightly faster way to do phase 1. So you're going to open again with the Dizzy Destroyer. And then you're going to do the quick right dodge buffers until you get 2 stars. Dodge, punch, star, dodge, punch, star. Fourth punch is an uppercut. Fifth punch is a left uppercut. But instead of punching him right away, you can do this phase a little faster if you delay your punch and hit him towards the end of his punch animation. And if you do it correctly, you'll do 5 damage and you'll get a star. And then you do a Dizzy Destroyer and then knock him down at 33. So I'll show that again in real time so you know exactly how fast it is. Right here. So if you can do that, it's a little trickier, but it is a little faster. You'll get about a 33 or 34 in the clock, depending how fast your dodges were. And that is phase 1, good and bad pattern. So one thing to know before you go into phase 2, you need to know how you knock him down. So if he does an uppercut and you knock him down with a punch, that means his guard is going to be low, okay? So if his guard is low, you're going to try and trick him into raising his guard in order to hit him with the star punch. Because remember, we've already hit him with 2 or 3 star punches, okay? So we want to trick him to raise his guard. So to start phase 2, if you've knocked him down with after he's thrown an uppercut, you want to hold up and start, and then let go as it goes off. As it's going off, I let go of up and start, and then it should hit him, okay? That's how you start phase 2. And then you're going to try and do a Dizzy Destroyer afterwards before he backs up. Sometimes he backs up right away, sometimes he doesn't. Okay, so he didn't back up there, so we could do a Dizzy Destroyer. Okay, so also in phase 2, if you knock him down after a hook, which we will here, that means his guard is down. No, I'm sorry, that means his guard is up. So in order to trick his guard now to going down, we're just going to hold start. And by holding start and not up, he's going to drop his guard down. And then while the punch is going off, we're just going to tap up. So we're holding start, it's going off, and now I start tapping up after his guard is dropped. Just tap up for a couple frames after, do a little bit of practice with it. It's a pretty big window. Tap up, and then as the punch is going off, it'll hit him. And then you go for a Dizzy Destroyer right away, holding up in B, and then up in B here. Alright. So that's how you know, that's how you hit him with the star to start phase 2. You have to know how you knock him down. So this is what phase 2 looks like when you do a max damage star punch. And a max damage star punch is when you're holding up and start, or you're holding start and then tap up to manipulate his guard. And after that lands, you're going to do a Dizzy Destroyer by holding up here to manipulate his guard. And then after he raises his guard, you hit B, and then you buffer up in B and let go as it goes off, like that. And there you go. So that's how you start phase 2. Then he's going to back up. And once he backs up, you're going to have to be ready to dodge his punches using slow left dodges. But this time, you're going to have to watch the clock, because we want to throw a star punch the second he stops spinning. We don't want to do an extra dodge. The clock will start moving as soon as he stops spinning. So use audio cues for this, actually, and with a little practice, you'll get a feel for it. So I'm going to slow dodge, watch the clock, and oh, it's 52. It went from 51 to 52. So as you can see down at the bottom left, I'm already holding starts. You want to throw the star right away. And if you're fast enough, you'll hit him. And once his face comes back to the fight and you see his face again, he's going to have his guard up here, but then he's going to drop it. And what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to punch him in the face 2 times. First punch, you want to use a very quick up and B press once his face comes back. So he's not back yet. There's his face. So now I'm going to hit up and B as soon as possible, and very quickly too. There it is. I'm hitting up and B, but I'm going to let go as soon as I've pressed it. A couple frames later, I'm not even pressing it anymore. Okay, good. So the punch is going off. I'm not pressing anything. It's going to hit him. And now I'm going to buffer up and B for the next punch. And then just like the second half of a Dizzy Destroyer, I'm going to let go of both up and B as the punch is going off. Right here. Not pressing anything now, so that should hit him. And down he goes. So show it again and walk you through it. Hold up and start, let go. Do a Dizzy Destroyer. Slow left dodges. Clark starts, hit start, pop him, hold up and B, let go. Before it hits him, and down he goes. That's phase 2. Now, sometimes after you hit him with the star punch, he will back up right away. I'm going to show you what to do if that happens. So you're going to, same thing, hold up and start, let go as it's going off, hit him with the star punch, try a Dizzy Destroyer here. Nope, he backed up. So now we're just going to dodge his punches like we did before. And then as soon as the clock starts moving, we're going to throw a star. There. Star's coming off. Pop him in the face the same way. As soon as he comes back, up and B quick. Holding up and B and letting go before it hits him. But now we have to do a few extra punches because we didn't get to do a Dizzy Destroyer after the first star punch. So after the second star punch after the second face punch lands here, we're going to manipulate his guard by holding up. His guard will go up, and then we'll hit B and punch him in the gut. After you punch him in the gut, you're not pressing anything on the D-pad, as you see in the bottom left, but after you hit him, you're gonna hit up on the D-pad again, right here, which means we're gonna manipulate his guard up before he throws his next punch. Okay? The reason we do that is so we know where his guard is to start the next phase. His guard will be up. So holding up, and he's about to punch, so we're gonna let go of up and dodge, and then knock him down. And if you did it correctly, then you know starting the next phase that his guard will be up. And what you're going to want to do to start the next phase is a reverse max damage star punch, which I'll show right here. So this is still phase 2. So to do a reverse max damage star punch, instead of holding up and start, if you know his guard is up to start the phase, you're just going to hold start. And then once that star punch is going off, you're going to tap up, just like I am here. And then you're going to let go, and that'll hit him. Now we're going to try to do a Dizzy Destroyer. Oh, we got it. Good. Dodge, dodge, I'll watch the clocks. Press start. Pop him. Pop him. That's it. And then one more time. This time he's not going to allow us to hit him with the Dizzy. We're going to hold start. Tap up as it goes off. He backs up right away. Clock starts ticking and start. Pop him here. Buffer up and B. Let go as it goes off. And then we're going to hit him in the gut by manipulating his guard up and then pressing B. And then we're going to hit up here before we dodge to manipulate his guard up, dodge, and then punch him down. That way we know his guard is up to start phase 3. Now there's another way that you can manipulate his guard up, which I think most people prefer. But I find it a little riskier. I don't know. I don't prefer it, but most people do. You might prefer it. So instead of hitting up before you dodge his last punch there, all you need to do is duck. Okay. And I'll show that in a little bit here. But one thing I didn't cover is how many stars you have going into the phase. Typically, you want to have 2 stars at the beginning of phase 2 and 2 stars at the beginning of phase 3. Well, 3 stars is fine too, 2 or 3. But what if you only have 1? What if you only have 1, and after throwing your max damage star punch, he backs up right away? Oh, never mind. He didn't back up right away in this one. What if you don't have any stars after you hit him with the star punch? What you want to do is not 1 Dizzy Destroyer, because this star that I get right here is actually random. You want to try doing 2. That way you can guarantee if you land both Dizzy Destroyers that you'll have enough stars for the next phase. Okay. The trouble with this is it's kind of hard to do. The window for it is really tight. You need to do those Dizzy Destroyers very quickly. So it'll take some practice. And if you only get 3 punches off, his guard will kind of be messed up for the next phase. So if you only do get 3 off, to start the next phase, you have to kind of finish the Dizzy Destroyer before you do anything else. And it gets all wonky, really. But if you do go for this strat, which I do recommend, if you pull it off, you'll have enough stars moving forward for the rest of the fight, which is good. Dodge these, press start when he stops, and because you did 2 Dizzy Destroyers in the middle there, that star punch will actually knock him down. Okay, so this is where the optional duck will come into play. So again, start the phase holding up and start, let go, max damage. We didn't get to do any dizzies and we have no stars. So what do we do now? If you have no stars and he's already spinning, you're going to want to do 1 extra dodge once he stops spinning. Like that, and then you're going to get 11 punches into his face. Now, after the 11th punch, he's going to come back, and much like before where you throw the star punch after he stops spinning, we're going to pop him in the face twice, exactly the same way. Once he comes back, you tap up and B really quickly, let go, and then you can buffer up and B for the next one. And then as the punch is going off, you let go of up and B, and that'll hit him. And then you're going to raise his guard to buffer, or not buffer, you're going to raise his guard to punch him in the gut. Now, instead of tapping up before dodging his last punch, we're going to do a duck. So I'm going to hit down and duck, and then we're going to do the appropriate buffer to knock him down after he threw a hook. Now, what doing a duck does, it does the same thing as tapping up before you dodge that last punch. It actually manipulates his guard up for the next phase. Some people find it easier. So this one's going to be... if you have 1 star going into phase 2, you don't get to do a Dizzy Destroyer. You do 1 extra dodge, 11 face punches. Pop him twice, hit him in the gut, and you do a duck. And this time he does an uppercut. But because we've already manipulated his guard up by doing a duck, you're not going to quick dodge and hit him in the face. His guard's already up, so he would block that. So you're going to want to, if you do a duck there, you're going to want to do a quick right dodge and then punch him in the gut. And his guard will still be up to start the next phase, which is kind of cool. I'll show that one more time. Pop, pop. Manipulate his guard up, do a duck, and then even if he throws an uppercut, quick right dodge, gut punch. And this one is, if you do the reverse max damage to start, everything else after it is the same. So I've buffered start, now I'm tapping up here. And then didn't get to do any dizzies. But we have a star here, so we're going to use it as soon as he stops. Pop him twice in the face, hit him in the gut, do a duck, and then just knock him down. Now because we did a duck again, his guard will be up, which means we're going to do a reverse max dizzy if his guard is up. So now we're getting into phase 3. Okay, his guard is up because we did a duck. And reverse max damage uppercut is when you buffer start like I'm doing here. As it's going off, I tap up like I'm doing here. And now phase 3, instead of doing a Dizzy Destroyer, he actually gets up with less health. We don't have to do a Dizzy Destroyer here. All we have to do is 5 damage to him. Now, a left gut does 4 damage, so that's not enough, but a right gut does 5. So that's what we're going to try and do here. We're going to hold up. Actually, I didn't do it there. He backed up right away. And phase 3 is much like phase 2. Once he's done spinning, use a star and pop him twice and he goes down. Anyway, so phase 3. This one's going to start out with a normal max damage uppercut, holding up and start, letting go right here. Now, we're going to hold up here and then try and gutter him with our right hand because we need that 5 damage, not 4. There it is. I pressed A just ever so slightly before that. There it is. I'm pressing A here. Goes off. And that's the 5 damage we want. Now he's going to back up. Star punch as soon as he does. And then just like in phase 2, wait for him to come back and pop. And now he goes down. That's it. That's the end of the fight right there. So phase 3, if he backs up before you can do the gut punch. Looks like this. As soon as he stops spinning, use a star, pop, pop, and you're done. Easy peasy. Phase 3, this is going to be a reverse max damage uppercut by holding start and tapping up. So you do this again when his guard, his guard is up, which is probably the most common to start phase 3. Most common to start phase 2 is his guard will be down, so you're going to hold up and start. But the most common for phase 3 seems to be if his guard is up, so you're going to hold start and then tap up right here as it goes off. Go for the gutter there. Stop spinning, hit start, pop him in the face. Okay. What happens if you get no gutter? Again, we're going to start with a reverse max damage. He's going to back up. As long as you have another star, you're fine. You just do that and you win. And the other scenario you can get in is what happens if you only have 1 star going into phase 3. We only have 1 star. Again, you want 2 stars to start each phase. That's the safest. But for phase 3, having 1 star is actually okay. Okay. So as long as you can get this max damage uppercut, whether it be a reverse max damage by holding start and tapping up, or a normal one. This one's going to be a normal one. We're holding up and start. I'm going to let go as it goes off. Now we have no stars, and he's going to back up right away. Uh-oh, what do we do now? Well, we're going to do 1 extra dodge when he stops spinning. Hit him in the face. And now we're going to do a quick right dodge and then buffer a gut punch with a right gut punch. So quick right dodge, buffering A. It hits him. And now to knock him down and finish the fight, we have to do 1 more reverse max damage uppercut. So after you've buffered A and it hits him, you buffer start and just tap up as it's going off. Buffer start. I tapped up. Down he goes. I'll show that one more time real quick. Okay, now we hit start. Or, I'm sorry. One more time because I screwed up. Dodge him, do 1 extra dodge, punch him in the face. Quick right dodge, gut, reverse max damage. Most of that phase is completely buffered, so with a little practice you should be able to handle it pretty well. And that's really it for the basic Macho Man strats for speedrunning. If you want to look at the advanced strats, I wouldn't recommend it until you've mastered all of these, but I will start those right now. So for the advanced Macho Man strats, you're going to start the fight just the same with the Dizzy Destroyer. You're going to grab a star, but now you're going to actually use it. And you want to kind of pay attention to what the second punch was. Right here it was an uppercut. So you're going to dodge punch him in the face and then buffer start, which I am here. And then as that's going off, we're gonna start holding up, and we're gonna try to do a right-handed gutter punch. Now you can use a left-handed gutter punch if you want. Some people prefer that. I prefer the right, so that's what I'm using for this tutorial. So I'm gonna hold up until he comes back to the fight. I'm gonna manipulate his guard up like that. Now I'm buffering A. I didn't buffer A, I'm sorry. I'm tapping A once his guard comes up. And if I did it right, I think it's a 2-frame window. If you do it the first frame possible, you don't end up doing it properly. I think you need to aim for the second or the third frame. And we hit it here. And the way you know you got it is right before the gutter hits him, he does like a little hop. You see the height of where his head is, the top of his head? It's kind of near the top of the ring. Well, right before the gut hits him, his head actually for 1 or 2 frames goes to the top right there. That's how you know you did it right. If your gut punch is going off and he does this little hop like this, that's how you know you did it right. So this is going to land. And not only is this going to land, but it's going to skip his third punch. So his next punch will actually be the 4th one of the phase. So it hits him. Okay. Now this is the 4th punch of the phase, and you know if the 4th punch is a right-handed uppercut and the 5th is a left-handed uppercut, you got the good patterns. That's what we're hoping for. So 4th punch is a right-handed uppercut. We're going to dodge it, punch him in the face. But now we have to punch him in the gut. And the reason for that is the punch before, we actually manipulated his guard up to hit him in the gut. So his guard was still up there. So when you quick right dodge his uppercut here, that you have to hit him in the gut, or he will block it if you try to go for a face punch there. So that was the 4th punch. Now the 5th punch, if it's a left-handed uppercut, you got the good pattern. But here, as you can see, I'm already buffering B. I'm hoping that we got the good pattern. It's not always the good pattern, but in this case it is. And as it goes off, you saw that he went down just ever so quickly there before, there it is. So you see this, you know you got the good pattern. Okay, he's going to block that. And as soon as he blocks it, you're going to start buffering up and start to do a max damage uppercut, which I am here. As that's going off, of course, you're going to let go. And I've let go there. And now I'm holding up. We're going to do a Dizzy Destroyer once he comes back. Yep, and after that hits him, buffer up and start again to do another max damage. As it goes off, you let go. Down he goes. So I'll show it again one more time. So open with the Dizzy. Dodge punch, get a star, throw the star, hold up, hit him in the gut. Oh, now that's one thing you're gonna want to not only practice, but you're gonna want to practice knowing that you got it. You're gonna want to watch a few times here. That little hop that he does right there. Boom, right there. He does a little hard. It's kind of hard to see, but once you've seen it enough, you know what to look for. And don't forget, after this, you have to go for the gut punch here, buffer B, buffer max damage uppercut, Dizzy Destroyer, another max damage uppercut. And there's your phase 1. Now, the problem with this advanced strat for phase 1 is it's riskier because it only works 75% of the time, even if you do it correctly. Because what you're really doing is you're countering this punch right here. That one. You're countering an uppercut punch. No, I'm sorry. You're countering an uppercut there. So if he doesn't choose to throw an uppercut there, which he does, he throws an uppercut there 75% of the time. So 25% of the time he'll throw a hook there. And if he decided to throw a hook there, he would just block that punch. And it wouldn't work. So you wouldn't be able to do this advanced strat and get a 30-second knockdown. You would have to do the backup strat, which would net you a 34-second knockdown, which I'll show in a minute. But first I want to show you what happens if the second punch of the fight is a hook. So again, open with a Dizzy, do this and get a star. Now the next punch is a hook. So instead of throwing the star and then holding up and then guttering him, we're going to punch him, throw the star, and then right here, we're going to pop him in the face by quickly pressing up and B. And this is probably the riskiest strat in the entire speedrun, because if you're too slow on this punch, he's going to uppercut you. And this isn't something I would recommend going for until you've practiced it a lot and feel completely comfortable with it. In fact, a lot of the times, if I'm on a good run and I get a hook for the second punch, I'm just like, okay, so I'm going to do the normal strats instead of the advanced ones. But anyway, so I missed the frame where I hit up and B. Let's see, there's up. There's up and B. Okay. So I'm hitting up and B really quickly. And if I can catch the frame where he's going to do another little hop. So watch the top of his head. Oh, I missed it. It's like one frame, maybe two. There it is. That's how you know you did it right. As long as this lands and you get a star, and you did. Okay. Oh, look, he's hopping again. So this is going to be an uppercut. So you're going to dodge this. But unlike the last one where you manipulated his guard up and punched him in the gut, you didn't do that here. So you're going to do a quick right dodge and punch him in the face this time. Like that. And then you counter his fifth punch, and then the rest is the same. Max star, Dizzy Destroyer, max star. Show it one more time. Dizzy, get a star. Star punch, and then counter that. If you did the hop, you know you did it right. Cancel the fifth punch. Max star, Dizzy, max star. Okay. So the backup strat, if you miss the two-framer, the hard punch, maybe he gave you a bad pattern and threw a hook when you needed him to throw an uppercut or whatever. So like right here, oh, I threw that a little bit too late. He did go for an uppercut there, but I threw it too late, so he blocked it. So now that's canceling his third punch. So the next punch is his fourth punch, and we get an uppercut. So we might get a good pattern. We're going to buffer B after we go for a star here. But because he blocked this, we're going to do a quick right dodge and a face punch. The only time you ever go for a quick right dodge and a gut punch after he throws an uppercut is if you actually landed that two-framer. So he blocked it here, so we're going to do a quick right dodge face punch and then buffer B. And yep, we got the good pattern, and the rest is the same, except we do two Dizzy Destroyers before we knock him down because we need to make up that damage that we missed by getting blocked. And you'll get a 33 or a 34. And one thing I like about this is most of the time you'll have 2 stars going into the next phase, which is what you want. 33 is still really fast. I like the advanced strats because of that. Even if you don't execute everything or you get a little unlucky, you still have a very good time going into phase 2. And a lot of the times you have 2 stars. So doing this strat right here is fine. It's just as fast as the normal speedrun strats, but it gives you an extra chance at a star. So, whoops, we get blocked. Okay, face punch, cancel. Do max damage. Now 2 dizzies. We get all the stars that time. And down he goes at 33. Very nice. Alright, one more thing to show is if you get the bad pattern and you're doing the advanced strats. This is actually pretty hard. I don't know why. It is for me. But anyway, so you start the fight the same. You do a dizzy, get a star. Okay, throw a star, and you hit it there, okay? So we did everything correctly so far. So here comes his fourth punch, but instead of an uppercut, it's going to be a hook. So now we know we got the bad pattern, which means we're going to throw the star right away. I'm already holding start. And so you get the bad pattern, fourth punch is a hook. Throw it. Now all we're going to do is we're going to get 2 stars, cancel 2 punches, and then throw a max star. So you get 2 stars, there's 1, there's 2, buffer B, and then a max damage star punch. And that's really it. I'm not sure why I have more trouble with this phase than most. Sometimes he can give you, what this really is it's a good pattern it's a bad pattern followed by a good pattern. So now we know we got the bad pattern. So we get 2 more stars. And if he blocks these, now we know we're getting a good pattern. So it's like a good pattern followed by a bad pattern. And then you can do that to knock him down. Now, he could get a bad pattern followed by a bad pattern, which means he's just going to keep doing, uppercuts and hooks forever and ever. And if that happens, well, then you're not going to get a 36. You're going to get like a 43, 44, 45. Maybe if you do some shenanigans by countering another punch or canceling another punch, you can play around with it. You can get like a 40, 41. But it's really up to you how you want to fight him. These are just the standard advanced strats. You can play as risky as you want, really, with Macho. That's the fun about this fight. Probably the most fun fight in the game for me. There's just so much you can do. The risk reward is not very balanced. It's pretty risky to do some things, but at least this strat, in my opinion, overall, the advanced one, is worth going for. The only questionable part about it is if the second punch of the fight is a hook, then you may want to weigh your options of whether or not you want to go for the counter of the uppercut on the next punch. Because again, if you're late, you're going to get punched. So proceed with caution and at your own risk. Good luck practicing these. I hope I covered everything well. And yeah, thanks for watching.